Hey guys, this is bringing you another video and a welcome to a VGU new champion update. So this is not a new champion, but this is an old one getting a rework, and it's for Skarner. Yes, he's finally here. Thank you to Riot via the League partner system and stuff that they invited me to the dev meeting, that I got to talk to the people that did his redevelopment. And obviously that is where I'm getting all this early information and then get to share this video with you guys at the exact right time. As a celebration of Skarner coming back out, what we're going to do, as always, is do a bit of a giveaway. If you like the video, subscribe and comment down below what you think about the Skarner rework, whether you think it's good or bad. Make sure you include your server and summoner name. You'll be entered to win Skarner and probably one of his skins. So the first thing is just to say this is his new splash art. Very quickly, just to give you some overviews. But their goal with him was to deliver on the promise of modernizing the kit that focuses on a fun and disruptive gameplay experience while retaining key core parts of Skarner's core identity. His role is jungle. There were questions in the Q&A part of like, can he do other things? He's very much just designed for jungle, but they have said maybe people will go top lane with him, but he really is a jungler. His gameplay identity is a tank fighter with enemy target access and team fight disruption. And then the dream of what they're hoping this does is Skarner tears through the terrain of Summoner's Rift, bit of a clue to his new kit, to beat down his prey. Reaching his targets isn't enough, though. He has to spear them, slamming them into walls and crashing those walls on them. So yeah, he's got a bit of a new look. His also background has been completely changed. So he's no longer like the crystal thing. So he has actually been made an ancient race and kind of a god figure in Ixtal. So he's the last member, I think, of the Yuntal or something like that. And it's, yeah, an old race that they used to worship in some regard. So that's his base skin, I think. It is. But yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I will say he looks pretty cool, but fundamentally, and I'll just go into it just saying, he is still Skarner. But let's get into his first ability, which will be his passive, which is called Threads of Vibration. So again, not a lot going on there from what you can probably tell, but if you notice his auto attacks, there's something going on the Belveth. And so basically, Skarner attacks, Shattered Earth, Upheaval, and, well, basically, Skarner attacks, different abilities, so Shattered Earth, which we'll find out about later, Upheaval, which we'll find out about later, and Impale apply Quaking to enemies. Enemies with 3 stacks of Quaking take percentive max HP damage over time. So yeah, auto-attacking, an ability called Shattered Earth, and Upheaval, and Impale. They apply all of his passive. And the idea that Riot was kind of saying is Skarner, in essence, can fight anyone. Because he does some okay damage. You know, he is predominantly a tank, but he does damage, like, you know, it's modern day League, everything does damage. But the fact that he does percentage max health points, it means he can fight anybody. He's not ultimately designed to be an absolute killer, but it just means he can fight anybody. The next one, though, is a 2-part ability, which is Shattered Earth and Upheaval. So this ability is arguably going to add quite a lot more skill expression to Skarner, because fundamentally he's never been a massively skill expressive champion. Very quickly, I will just say though about the passive, because some people may be already asking it, is the tower defense minigame gone of capturing the points? Yeah, that's gone. They didn't fully explain why it's gone, but ultimately I think everybody will overall be happy it's gone. It was kind of just a bit of a gimmicky mini game that you didn't really need, but this ability anyway, sorry, the Q, so the first element, so Shattered Earth, is Skarner rips a rock out of the ground and uses it to empower his next 3 attacks with bonus damage, range, and attack speed. His third attack slams the rock into his target, slowing them and dealing significant bonus damage, ending the effect. However, you could, so if you just auto a bunch, it will slam the rock and then it's done. But if you don't get to the third auto attack, you can use Upheaval, which is Skarner may recast Upheaval to throw the rock as a projectile that explodes on the first enemy hit, dealing the same damage and slow, ending the effect. So in essence, I think it's the same damage if you manage to get to the 3 auto attacks, or you throw it at them. I guess it's the same by what they've said here. But what they said of the utility of this is, he's a melee champion. You can't always get 3 attacks on somebody. So the idea is if you can't quite get that 3 attacks off, you can throw it at them and it, because it does decent damage, it would in essence, maybe finish a target off. Or if they flash away, you can just hit them after. And it obviously slows them, so you might be able to even catch back up with them. So I quite like that. That definitely modernizes him, because Skarner's one of his biggest weaknesses has always been getting on top of people or them just getting away. So I really like that. The next ability is called Seismic Bastion. So again, a very basic ability here, but not every ability has to be crazy, which I do quite like to see. And I would say bare bones, Skarner is still a pretty basic champion. I don't think when they do reworks, they don't want to take fundamentally a basic champion and turn them into a really complicated champion, because the mains or the one tricks who likely will still continue to play their champion, they don't fundamentally want to change it completely. We've obviously had the Aatrox situation that happened years ago. I think Riot has kind of learnt from that, and they kind of fundamentally want it to be the same, just modern. So Seismic Bastion is Skarner gains a shield and slams into the ground, releasing a shockwave that damages and slows nearby enemies. So pretty much just utility. Yes, it does a bit of damage, which isn't a bad thing. It's not going to be a lot, but it is also from memory. It doesn't say it here, but in the developer Q&A, and this is the useful part to know, I believe this works like Jarvan's Jarvan's W, is you get more shield when you're in the middle of enemies. I believe that's what they said. It doesn't say in my kind of document here, but I from memory think a developer said it's kind of like Jarvan's. So there we go. Now, the next 2 abilities, if the rock one didn't get you too excited, the next 2 I think are actually the biggest. Well, the next one I think is actually the best change for Skarner, and then the ultimate we'll see. But yeah, the next one is called Ixtal's Impact. So yeah, this one I think is actually pretty damn cool. So in essence, Skarner charges forward, ignoring terrain, and grabs the first enemy champion or large monster he collides with. He may then carry them a short way, damaging and stunning them if they collide with terrain. So the way this was explained is, think of this as a mini Scion ultimate, but a mini Scion ultimate that can go through terrain. I think this is really cool, and this really modernizes Skarner. He used to really struggle in having that impact of getting to people, and I think this is kind of exactly what he needed. It is worth mentioning, one of the clips that we may see later, people may say, so if you E and there's no terrain, does it just cancel? No, he does charge a decent amount. Like, it's literally more or less a mini Scion ultimate. But instead of, stopping when he collides, he grabs them and, can stun them into terrain. I also think, and this is something that I like with the design ethos, he's a scorpion, right? Scorpions in nature bury, burrow, dig. So I think this really goes to kind of a Scorpions kind of vibe. So I actually think it's really cool. And then the ultimate, which is called Impale, surprisingly. So yes, they have fundamentally kept it the same, but also modernized it. So Impale is Skarner impales up to 3 enemy champions, which obviously, if you notice, he's got 3 tails now, so that's why it's 3. Damaging and suppressing them, Skarner gains bonus movement speed for a short time and carries them with him until the end of the effect. So the thing with Skarner that was always a weakness is you primarily had one target to go for. They would buy a QSS, and then your ultimate's kind of meh. Well, either the whole enemy team is going to have to buy a QSS, or people don't buy it. You know, that's the thing. And you can literally CC 3 people in one go, and that could literally win you a whole team fight. It is worth knowing this is still a suppressing effect, so Cleanse does not work. It's the exact same, only QSS, or I believe Mikhail's and maybe Milio ult will get you out of the Skarner ult. Other things to consider. So in the Q&A, we didn't actually have, which was a little bit annoying, we didn't actually have the direct gameplay designer of Skarner. For some reason, they were unavailable. So we had a different Rioter who's basically, like, he's in the champion team, and he knows a bit about this Skarner rework, but he didn't have all of the answers to the questions. Because a lot of people were saying, so wait, if you impale, and then can you go into a wall and, like, grab people away? And I think he said, like, it's a possibility that might be able to happen, but he couldn't confirm it 100%. He did say, though, you can't flash with it. So if you're impaling people, you can't then flash to get more distance while you're grabbing them. But there's a chance that you can, with, again, which I think makes sense because it's all part of his kit. You might be able to impale, and then, let's say right now, he'd impale them, and then run into the terrain on his left and drag them with him. There's a chance that might be able to happen. But what we'll do is we've got some gameplay footage for you guys just to show some basics of combos and then an actual team fight. So I'll play those out and you can see Skarner in action. So you can see here, he has a rock in him. He can go through the terrain. He hits the Belveth. He's going for autos with the Impale. So you can see generally how his kit's going to work together. But what I think we're going to get a better idea is this big video of a big team fight. You can kind of tell he's not the biggest damage dealer, but he's not supposed to be at the same time. He's got a lot of slows, a lot of CC, so that's kind of his niche.
An enemy has been slain.
And there's the charge that is not in terrain, but it doesn't matter. Good job. Go through towers, obviously. But again, his charge is pretty long. Again, he'll see his ultimate now is a partial skill shot, so it has a bit of distance to it. So again, another thing that Skarner used to struggle with is getting the people. Well, now if he just has the range of his ultimate, he can actually ult people. You go, 2 people in his ult. And there you go. So I'll probably keep that on. So just to explain a couple of things more. One of the questions that people had was, throughout the years, there's been a couple of like kind of cheesy picks with Skarner or builds. AP has definitely been one that people have experimented with. We didn't, as I said, have the absolute gameplay designer to confirm, but he's pretty sure all of the AP ratios are practically gone, so there will not be an AP build moving forward for Skarner. He is fundamentally a AD tank bruiser-y kind of champion, so that is worth knowing. So, you know, it may upset some old Skarner mains who may have built AP. Obviously, there's not many of those, but yeah. And again, Riot obviously do take in factor now people that do one trick or main something, but they also want to, and what their goal fundamentally is to try and bring a champion to the modern game and make it more accessible for more people to play. They don't want champions to only be played by 20 people, you know, they want a lot of people to play every champ. So that is fundamentally one of their goals, and making it more, this is an AD bruiser champion, and there isn't these kind of weird niche things. Sometimes that is the way they'll go. Another one that some people say, like, oh, I could maybe see this working as a support. Obviously, in modern days, supports are making a bit too much gold, so a lot of things can support when they shouldn't. Riot did say there's a chance he might be able to support. The only thing to it is you're not maximizing his kind of terrain prowess in the early game, you know, running through terrain. You know, you might be able to go counter jungle and then get out of the enemy territory, kind of like a Rek'Sai. You're not going to be maximizing that if you're playing support. But obviously, roaming is a big part of support as well. So I don't think Riot is completely against the idea of him supporting a bit, but he is fundamentally going to be completely balanced to jungle. And that's basically it. So to me, he looks kind of cool. Just to say some dates. So March 19th, he's going to be on the PBE. And then when is Skarner VGU coming to live? April the 2nd. So that is when if you're not playing him at all on PBE, April the 2nd is when he'll be coming to the live game. And then obviously he'll potentially be insane in solo queue. We'll see. But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, thanks to Riot for providing me this early and involving me in the dev meeting. It's always appreciated. But as I said, if you guys want a chance to win Skarner, do be subscribed, do like the video, comment down below what you think of it. And again, make sure you enter your summoner name and your server in your comment. That's going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime.